The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here, and I know that it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon elsewhere, especially if you're watching in Africa or you're watching in some part of Europe. My name is Valentine Mengolasande. I'm the host, the presenter, and the producer of this program. Welcome to yet another edition, a Friday edition of Your Opinion, where we make your opinion matter. On today's program is going to be it's going to be very interesting. Trust me, because I have a big fish in a big pond. And like you all know, the topic that we'll be treating today, we'll be going a little bit political, but we're going to be as apolitical as possible. And don't forget that whatever we say here, by every standard, comes from our own perspective. You have every right to debunk some of our claims, but we'll also try as much as possible to come with facts and figures. Today, I want to tell you that as I'm speaking right now, we have one of our correspondents far away in Sierra Leone, where their own national election is going on, and where they will be choosing the president and other members of the parliament in Sierra Leone. And we wish them a very free and fair election. And hopefully, by the end of the day or by next week, we'll be hearing the result of the elections. So today's topic is something that you all know, but I will be introducing my guest when I come back from this short intermission. Today, the 24th of June in the year 2023, I want to apologize on behalf of the rest of the crew, some of my participants, because, this is America. Somehow, they are not able to feature with me today on the program. But like you all know, the rule of the program says the show must go on. Oremeyi, one of the participants, is bagging an award in faraway Florida today, and we are wishing her all the best. We'll be talking about that later too. Also, Prince Mark is unavoidably absent, and so also is Eniola. But maybe sometime again on the program, you will be seeing their faces. All right, once again, my name is Valentine Benga, and please share this program so that other people can know what is going on. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, and whenever any of our program pops up, you'll be the first person to be notified. I'll quickly go on a short break. When I come back, I will introduce the topic for today, and I'll also be bringing my guest. Please don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment. You're welcome back, and like you know, today's program is, like I said, is going to be a little bit political, and we're going to be talking we're going to be going around Nigeria, because we're going to be placing a close focus on what is going on in Nigeria. And the topic for today, like you can see on the screen, is the Tinubu era. On the 29th of May, a new order came over to Nigeria, especially the change and burden of power where our long time political juggernaut in the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu was handed over the baton of power, of what the reins of power by the former president Muhammadu Buhari. And since then, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has started doing things, making a lot of things happen from some quarters. But as you all know, all of us cannot sleep and lie the same way. So today we'll be looking at the Tinubu era, a new Nigeria, looking closely at new appointments, security, subsidy removal, student loan, EFCC, and the rest of them. And joining me on the program today is a big fish, like I said, in a big pound. As you can see him, his name is Prince Olakunle Oyerogba, a mechanical engineer who holds his BSc in mechanical engineering and MBA. He is the chairman, chief executive of Bosch Academy International Consult. He is also the owner and the chairman of Bosch Logistics. He is a certified HPO trainer. He is a consultant, world renowned, widely traveled, and he was also a should I say he's still an activist? He was a student union activist back there in school until today he's still a human rights activist. I have the pleasure of bringing to your screen today, no other person that Prince Olakunle Yoruba. Good morning to you. How are you today?
Good morning and happy to be here.
It's nice to see you. And very quick introduction, like I always do with my guests. Can you just tell us about yourself first? I mean, I just read something about you, but can you just tell us about you?
Okay, good morning, viewers, and good morning to you in the US and afternoon to the viewers in the Africa and other part of Europe. My name is Prince Olukunle Oyerogba. Um, of course, I'm from the southwest part of Nigeria, and I'm a mechanical engineer by profession, but I also have other qualifications in other area, as you mentioned. So, at least when I was in school, I was one of the student, activists. Then I back in the days in Yabatek, if you most remember, that's the time when we have the labor union, Pengassan leader Frank Kokori, and the lack of Ganifa and me and the rest of them. So they really, really, you know, do a lot in terms of motivating us, helping us to understand what it is to, stand for your right. And I remember several times we have protested, I've led the protest to the government house, all that eras when, in fact, the current president of Nigeria then was the governor of Lagos State. So when we had, so many kind of demonstration, different kind of, and that was actually my first time of coming in contact with the like of Omoyele Chowore, and those are the things that. And from now to today, we are still so much breathing in the corridor. We're looking at, though I'm not political, I don't belong to any political party.
Really?
But no, 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 no. I don't carry any card of any political party. I am the person that I love to just see what is the feel of the people. In fact, from some people that know me, when I was in Nigeria, at the turn of this democracy, this Fourth Republic, 1999, I was one of the few that actually trusted and believed in Obasanjo. In fact, I was nicknamed Obasanjo. Then I was University of Lagos. So everybody know me as Okushege. Okushege, Obasanjo is my name. So most of my colleagues, they always call me Obasanjo because I stood for him. I so much defend his policy and everything that he stood for because I love what he did to Nigeria economy. He opened up our economy. And at the time, when Yaradua came, before the advent of Yaradua, I was not supporting. I was critical of Yaradua. And not for any two reasons, because of his health status. I know that I've had a lot, I've read about him. I know he's not the right person to govern Nigeria. And what led to his emergency, as at that time, was so much, shrouded in secrecy that we really don't know much about it. And that was what. But he came and he did well for his little time he spent, of course, being in opposition, being an activist. does not mean that when you see something good, you don't recognize it. So then they recognize. At the time of Jonathan, I only supported Jonathan because he was from the minority. And I was like, Nigeria,
Okay,
what is good for the
okay.
always good for
I
the
can
government.
see you're pregnant with words. I
So
mean, let's just stop at that introduction first. Well, so viewers, I have Prince Olakole in the house, and he's already taking you to where I was going to take you. And trust me, today we're going to be dissecting Nigeria in retrospect. We are going to be looking at what Nigeria was, what Nigeria is, and what Nigeria is likely to be. So that would take me to my first question to uh, Prince Olakunle. You you have seen Nigeria for a while, at least maybe over a couple of decades now. What is your perspective of Nigeria as a whole?
mm, well,
Democratically, politically,
in my own
militarily.
understanding, we will say Nigeria is a going concern. And any country that has sovereignty, they are bound to have, ups and downs, because just like you said in the introduction, I'm an HPO certified trainer, and HPO means high performance organization. There is a slogan that we have in that field of study that says every organization is designed to actually delivered the results that they delivered. So whatever result that you see, that was actually what you are designed to deliver. And that is exactly the same thing applied to country.
But
Nigeria,
can we look at administration? Can we look at administration and compare that to governance? Like
yeah,
I'm talking about, when we talk about administrative process where we can put tools together, they kind of use the same maybe templates, but this app, when we talk about governance, is people based. When we talk about administration, is utilities, resources, and all of that. Can we really look at it from that angle?
yes. If you look at it critically, they are almost like they are hand in hand, because when you look at administration, it is people based, and whatever you say, the perception, the way I feel matters a lot. If I'm at the end of affair, you just like what Obasanjo just said in 1999. He said, I appointed you as a special advisor. Your job is to advise me, but it's left for me to listen. And that is exactly what happened in every administration, for every government in any country. Nigeria has been a very vibrant, very good, and growing with a lot of aspiration and potential in the early 70s and into the early 80s. Because I can remember pretty well, though I was still young, in early 80s, 1981, 82, Nigeria was visa free to about 98 countries of the world, meaning that they were asking you to come.
Yeah. Your
You
your
understand?
your passport, your green passport can
Your
take
green
you to
passport gives you
without
an
any visa.
access to go to over 98 countries without requesting for any other document. That was until, the military took over in the 83 of Buhari and Babangida and the rest of them. And gradually, we started slipping down, going backward. If you remember very well, all the way through the advent of the structural adjustment program, everything, the whole thing started going back from the moment we don't have a voice. When you lose your identity and you live under the shadow or dictate of another government, then this is what you see. So I can tell you for free, every government has a plan for their citizens.
So you said, I want to quote you. You said Nigeria is a growing concern, right?
Yes.
That's how you describe Nigeria.
Mhm.
Now, the growing concern, as we're looking at it, which one do you think has been positively impacted among the kind of governments that we have? Is it the military government, because Nigeria has been under military dictatorship or governance for a while, and then we also have enjoyed some measure of democracy. So which one do you think has impacted more on Nigerian economy and polity?
Well, like what this is a common knowledge and it's a public domain that the worst of democracy is better than the best of military.
According to
Military,
some, in some quarters.
military, they all have they fear the good aspect of it, but the only problem that I have with the military government is the lack of voices. It is not a government of the people. It is not for the people and it is not by the people. It is the government for the military by the military that have been dictated. So, in that regard, they do whatever they think is right, whether it is actually right for you or it is not right for you. I was
The likes of administration that, well, let's look at it from Babangida to Buhari to Abacha, those governments, relative to what you have like Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Goodluck, and the rest of them, which one do you think have impacted on
if
Nigeria
you
economy
want
more
to
positively?
if you want to look at Nigeria in that perspective, the government that I would say that actually has some meaningful impact in Nigeria in the military government cannot be attributed to the government of Buhari or Babangida and the rest. No, we can be talking about the military government of Muritala and talk about the military government of Yakubu Gowon. Those are the government that has the intent and that has planned for the citizen, that has impacted, the life of the people in some form. But in terms of the civilian government, let me be honest with you, the best civilian government that Nigeria has ever had is Obasanjo's government. And that was between 1999 to 2007. People don't understand, but that is the best civilian government that has ever happened. In 1999, when Obasanjo when he came into government, the first thing he did was to open up Nigeria economy. I can tell you, if you remember very well, the advent of GSM to Nigeria created $1 billion business in Nigeria. This is the same country where our one-time minister, if you remember, I think it was David Mark or so, that said GSM is not for the poor, that the poor people cannot use phone in Nigeria. It's not meant for them. But when Obasanjo came, I remember quite well then the advent of Econet and MTN. They were the first people to come in. Look at the number of people that were employed in that sector. Those that are selling recharge card, those that are the operators that are making the phone, the phone booth. Look at the number of investors. Look at the number of employees. Then going from there, look at the amount of foreign investment that came into Nigeria in 1999. He literally starts and built Nigeria from the scratch. And that was the good thing that he did. He opened up the economy. He allowed a level playing ground. People come in, a lot of, aspiration and hope
I want to
for
put my
Nigeria.
voice to what you have said and maybe write that question to that, because Obasanjo really did open the economy, like the borders. People can when bringing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of international trade and all that, whether at a corporate level or at an individual level. Like some people who never dreamed that they were going to have cars. Teachers were buying cars. Living standard, but also that particular thing he did also led to the beginning of the most or the worst kind of corruption that we have had in Nigeria, in Nigerian history. And Obasanjo did mention that in his book, because if you remember in his book that he wrote, he particularly mentioned his vice president. I mean, I don't know where the wall cracked between them. That
Yes.
there has never been any massive corruption as much as His Excellency, the former Vice President Abubakar
The former
Atiku.
vice
Do you agree
president.
with that?
But you know that is where I say that is where the personality and the perspective of human being comes into play. When you are talking about corruption, corruption is not quote unquote, it is not invisible. People systemic, endemic, and bring corruption into life. So, and like what somebody said, I remember very well. I can't remember specifically who put that assertion that Obasanjo was traveling everywhere looking for investment. He was running around and everything, and he said he is the first ambassador, the number one salesman for Nigeria as an entity. And he doesn't trust anybody more than he trusts himself. So I am the best person that can go and solicit for investment. But at any, of course, in government, there is a shared responsibility. The former vice president was put in charge of economy, and we all know what came out of it. And in all sincerity, I love former vice president for one thing. He doesn't hide his opinion, and he says the way you feel. I remember the last interview granted when he was contesting for the presidency. He said, they told me that I sold Nigerian assets and the business to my friends and family. He said, if it were you, who will you sell them to? He said, yes, I will encourage my friend. I will make them rich. He said it in the interview. So my problem is not that you privatize all these assets, you sold these properties. My problem and the issue that we have in Nigeria today is everybody want to cut corners. Nobody is really interested in investing, doing the job, and get the money out. Ask yourself a question. Why is it that every government business asset doesn't work? But immediately that property and that asset or company is sold to private enterprise, they start spending money. In some cases, it is the same people that were working there while it was under government, the same people are still working there, now under a private entity. So what has changed? It is the attitude. It is human. So Obasanjo cannot be everywhere. He can't be the Minister of Transportation. He can't be the Minister of Work. He can't be Minister of Education. At the same time, he's going to be in charge of electricity. He's going to be in charge of construction. He cannot be everywhere. This is something that you appoint people. And when you appoint people, believe me, you give them the power, the authority to do what they are doing. They tend to do it their own way. And that is when the confrontation comes in between Obasanjo and his vice then. They fell apart because Obasanjo began to look at it as, oh, this man is not actually, sharing my vision and it's not going my own way. He's going his own way. And that was when the rift starts. And of course, if you read from Obasanjo's his book, My Watch, you see a lot of things that they said about his vice president. You see a lot of comment, a lot of, the statement accredited to him. So that is to tell you it is a different perception. It is individual. So I can do the best that I want. I can be the best I want to be. But if I have assistance and I have teams that doesn't share my vision, there is little. They can create a lot of problem and they make the job very difficult for you. Just like what an addict that say, I'm afraid of a team of sheep being led by a lion than a team of lions being led by a sheep. It is very simple.
Okay,
When you have something that is very
I want you
cold,
to just take a cup of tea or just sip whatever you're drinking. When I come back, I'm sure the seat is already getting hot. We're going to we're talking about what Nigeria was. Now we're going to talk about what Nigeria is, and then we'll be coming to the topic for today. All right, viewers, if you're just joining, the program is Your Opinion, where we make opinion matters, and we're talking about the Nigerian government, especially the Tinubu era, a new Nigeria. Is it really a new Nigeria for good or a new Nigeria for bad? When I come back, Kunle Yoruba will be talking about the electoral process that brought in this new administration. How free and fair was that election? And then what are we expecting out of the litigation process that is going on? And then we're going to talk about the administration that is still in its embryo. We'll be back very shortly. All right, you're welcome back. The program is still your opinion. If you're just joining, please, we want you to like this and please share it on your own social media platforms. You can share it on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's a comment section. If you want to be a part of this program, please just go there, put in your comment, and if you want to call, there's also a number that you can call. You'll see it scrolling on the screen. So you can also be a part of this and also let us know your own opinion. Welcome back, Prince Kunle Yoruba. The election that brought in Bola Ahmed Tinubu BAT, would you say it's free and fair? In your own opinion?
In my own opinion, my honest opinion, the election is very far from being free and fair. That's number one. Apart from being free and fair, election has guidelines. And I would say for the second time, I am really, really, really following and I was curious about this election because I see it as a milestone. And in build up to this election, if you are very conversant with the conversation that has been coming on before the election at all, the Senate president, when they were discussing the Electoral Act, they made it very categorically clear the process, the procedure, how the election is going to take place. And if you follow the discussion of INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood, in Chatham House, when he went there to address the world, he made it abundantly clear and categorical statement that this election is going to be free and fair and credible, and technology will be deployed and will be used. Now,
Was
there has to
technology
be
not deployed and used?
now there are difference between you deploy and you use. There are two different things. What the technology is supposed to be used for was clearly called out and itemized in their electoral act. And one of the things is that remember before the beavers, we were used to what they call the card reader. What the card reader does is only to, confirm that you that hold the card are the accredited registered voter. But with the beavers, there is a level of technology that has come in. And that's why everybody say the beavers is the game changer, which originally is supposed to be. Because what is the game changer? The game changer is just to make sure that our vote counts, remove all the manipulation, remove all the corruption tendencies, in the sense that when you make this thing open and it is live to the whole world, everybody will be able to judge whether it is free and fair. You
For
don't
us
need
to be
anybody to
for
come
us
on
to be on
screen.
the same page and for us to be able to carry our viewers along so that they know what we're talking about, what is the major function, the major role of the beavers?
I'm coming there. That is, I'm building up to the present of that to explain. Now, what the beaver is supposed to do is to accredit you as a registered voter. You come there, you do your biometric to ascertain that you are the same person that owns this card. Then after that, the beavers tally the number of people that actually come to that particular polling unit. And after the voting is done, the result of each polling unit supposed to be pictured. And for your information, Beavers has a very high resolution camera that can take a very clear picture. There was no reason for us to have a blur images. There is no reason for us to have, dark images. And from my little experience, by the grace of God, I'm also into IT and I have some basic knowledge of how this functions. So when you take any picture or you capture any data into this Beavers machine, Beavers machine can work both offline and online. Once I take the pictures of the EC8 8A form, what's supposed to happen is that I upload it and send it to the appropriate, portals based on whatever the election that we are doing. Now, this election, remember, I'm talking specifically for the presidential. 3 elections were done the same day: House of Rep, the Senate, and the presidential. the same person as an accredited voter. Once you are accredited once, you go ahead and cast your vote for those three elected offices, right? Now, in every polling unit, there is a number of accredited voters which must tally with whatever has been recorded in BVAS. Let's take, for instance, we have a polling unit that is registered PU001. And in this PU001, you have 79 accredited voters in BVAS. The result for your presidential, for your House of Rep, for your Senate cannot be more than 79, because that is the total number of people that was accredited. It can be less, for the reason of, if we have invalid vote, if we have vote that was not submitted or anything, but it can never be more. The max is 79. Now, when you finish the voting process and the polling unit officer said voting has ended, you collate all the papers, you count the number of papers, which must be equal to 79. After counting, you record it in form EC8A. This is the number of votes in this total polling unit. Then you now begin to sort by political parties. After you sort them, you count the numbers. The total number of each political party must be added to give us 79. Then you enter this result in your form EC8A, showing you each number scored by each political party. Then the next step is for the polling unit officer to use the beavers, take a picture of that form EC8A after it has been duly signed by all the political
All the
agents,
party
the
agents.
polling unit officer, and every relevant party agent that are there. Take that picture, upload it into your beavers, and send it to the cloud. That is the IREF. Now, this is where the problem comes in. The same beavers machine, the same polling units, the same polling unit officer took the picture of the form EC8A for the House of Rep, upload it, everything went successful. He took the picture for the Senate result, upload it, everything went successful. Then he now took the picture for the presidential EC8A, then he refused to go through.
But I mean that is technology. It
That
can,
is not
is
now.
highly susceptible to errors.
Now, let me now tell you.
Because now from what you have said, from your narrative, it's
Yes.
apparent that you are not on the side of INEC nor on the side of BAT, because we are going to look at that, and then we are going to look at the fact that everything that you have said, I agree. But the only thing is, like, do you think that by any standard there can be human error, there can be hardware or software malfunction?
Um, by the grace of God and my experience in IT, information technology, if you have an ISP provider or you have a back end, you know, cloud-based technology that supports this equipment, so to say, it is the same ISP provider that gave you the network, that gave you the service.
But so
Let me
the IREF major function is to transmit.
now.
It does not have storage capacity.
No. IREF has both offline and offline mode.
But
It has
no
storage, it
storage
has capacity
capacity.
to store.
No, it's only transmits through the cloud. Can you please
No,
explain that?
no, let me explain it to you, because I took my time to actually went online, get to do some little research about this BFAS, and also to understand what is the back end technology and who provide them the cloud support. The cloud support system for the BFAS is AWS. It's Amazon web services that provided, and it's an enterprise resource. So, which invariably means that we can actually trace everything that happened. We can download, we can get the report. And if you are following the electoral election tribunal and what is going on, it's very interesting. I have listened, and by the grace of God, I listen to this transcript every single day. And I have been opportune to hear some cybersecurity experts coming to testify and witness in court. And they were saying exactly what I'm telling you now, which is the truth. Waivers is designed to work both offline and offline. Let me give you a very good example. Let me use our common knowledge that we all know. You know that when you have your phone Your phone is being powered by a network. Whether you are in America here, you are Orange, you are T-Mobile, you are Verizon. If you are in Nigeria, you may be MTN, Airtel, anything, whatever the network that you are using. That network provide you the internet service and give you the coverage. When you are sending a message to somebody on WhatsApp, you put a message on WhatsApp, you put your picture, your attachment, you send it to that person. If that person is offline, and I want you to take note of this, the person is offline, or his phone is off, or his data is switched off, whatever the case may be, from your own phone, from your own end, when you send it, it will mark it, meaning that from my end, I'm a sender, because in IT, we have the sender and the receiver. These are two different nodes. So when you send this information from my own end, it has gone. But you can call the person that's supposed to receive the picture and say, hey, did you get what I sent to you? You guys say, no, I didn't receive it. Why? For any reason. Sometimes they will tell you, oh, switch off your phone and turn it on again. They can tell you, okay, switch on your data. Immediately you switch on your data, everything you send will start downloading. Everything you send will start downloading. Meaning that that person was at momentarily offline. That is why he didn't receive the information real time. But immediately he came online, the information came down. So that is in one way the way beavers work. So when you send, and there is something, and which is very interesting. I know about this technology far back, I think around 1993. Do you know that when you have an hardware, like all this our computer hardwares, your flash drive and everything that we use for storage, for electronic storage, if something happened and I send you some things, if you deleted the information I sent to you in the hardware, you deleted everything, you format your hard disk. Do you know that we have a software that we call intelligent analyzer?
Yeah,
It
that
has
can
happened
bring
to
back
me.
the memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has happened to me. I was working when I was back in Nigeria. I was working with an IT company then. So the system crashed and the whole thing went. I couldn't recover anything. I was searching on the internet and I got to know about it. I found some. I took my hardware to that company to analyze it. They recover every single thing that
Yeah.
was on that hard disk. Whether you delete, and that is what happened to Beavers. One of the cyber security experts that came to Tribunal told us that even the beaver that was reconfigured, like what they say, or reformatted for the governorship election, if they brought the beavers and they recovered all the result, all everything that was on that beaver, even though it was formatted, they recovered everything. They got it back. Now, let's go back to the election being credible or not credible, which I wanted to, I'm trying to prove a point. So let everybody, let Nigerians answer that question, whether it is credible or not credible. Now, I voted, I put all the figures and everything. Then somebody took the picture of the first one, representative, he went, the Senate, he went, and then the presidential, he didn't go through. How come the presidential unanimously did not go through in all the locations?
No, but that is not absolutely true because we cannot say in all because there's no totality in any evidence. There's no
No, 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 no,
totality.
no. Sorry, I was live on IREF on the election day. In fact, I took my time to sign up with INEC. I got my username and password. I was on IREF. There was no single result uploaded to IREF on the 25th of May. No single one. In fact, until the following morning, I keep refreshing and refreshing the IREF. Nothing was on IREF. Nothing. There is no single presidential result on IREF portal on the 25th of May. So, and then only thing we came to understand was that they said there was technical glitch. My question
which
is
is
that
which is possible.
now, what is a technical glitch? And on whose end? Is it from the AWS Amazon Web Services? Is it from the user's end? So where did the technical glitch comes from? And for your information, if you might, this might interest you to know that one of the cybersecurity experts that came from the US to witness on this tribunal actually came with the time tray of AWS cloud database. They print out the log, every single thing between 25th and I think end of March, there was no any break in service from AWS. There was no technical glitch on
From
the
from
service.
from some of the script that I read,
Yeah.
you know that the INEC came out and said that they had more than 1 million attacks just between the morning of the election till the following day. So there could be a lot of manipulation because intelligence. I mean, technology, technology
Um,
intelligence can either be used
you
for
see,
or
you
against.
see,
So
this
there
is
could be some.
let
There's
me
a
let, let
possibility.
me
Hold
let
on,
me
hold
let
on,
me tell you something.
hold on, please. I allowed you a lot to talk because I wanted you to create it because you are the person that I wanted to. We want to hear your own opinion about this now. But the thing is, like, technology is like a gun. It can be used for attack. It can be used for defense.
Yeah.
So there might be some other because I've heard a lot of allegations about manipulations. People can sit down in the confine of their room, go on their laptop, hack into the iRev, hack into the cloud, and do a lot of manipulation. So it depends on the technical know-how of even on the AWS. There are a lot of manipulations, even here in the Western world where we are. There's been a lot of allegations. America went through that same thing where they said that Russians even attacked their own soft and hardwares too. So what do you make out of that?
That is what I'm trying to tell you. That when that happened, thank God that there's nothing in internet or in technology that will not leave a paper trail. There is an audit trail. When you say, I remember there is an allegation from a minister of information that say
It can be
there are
wiped.
no. There is
No
a
matter.
timestamp.
No,
Let me tell you.
it is human invention. It is human invention, technological advancement. But I'm telling you for free. In this IT that all of us that we know that it is
Now,
also possible to wipe out memory,
now
clear
let me
it.
tell you why. Let me tell you why it is not possible like that. You cannot leave a vacuum in anything. When you wipe out anything, even if you have that capability to wipe out the audit tray, it will leave a gap. But this also because this is a timestamp and this stamp, it will tell
Right.
you what happened at every second when there is a change in that transmission load. And if there is a pause, the system will record it. It's just like you are looking at you are doing an ECG for a patient in the hospital. When you look at the way it fluctuates and it show you the heartbeat of that person, when the heartbeat stop, it will show. When they flatten out, you will see it. When they start again, you will see it. So
Yeah.
if there is anything like somebody want to do a manipulation to clean the tray, it will show there is a gap.
Yeah.
Because
The gap is now what we now need to explain. I'm only
but
saying there's a
unfortunately,
possibility. I'm only saying there's a
there has not been
possibility.
any gap. Unfortunately, the audit trail has been very
In
consistent.
the
And
evidences tendered in the court, in some
yeah,
of and even in the allegations, even before they started tendering it, was one of the things they said was that there are gaps. Like you said now, the whole of that night, nothing was uploaded. Right? That's a gap, that's a vacuum because it's supposed to be capture, transmit, and then you can download.
now
That's what's supposed to happen
that
there.
is not. Let me tell you what happened and how it happened. It is unfortunate that the government in power, then the former President Buhari and the INEC, they actually underestimated the capacity of Nigerians and their capacity in terms of social media and what we can do with the real-time technology sharing. Initially, the plan, and I'm talking based on experience and I'm talking based on what the interaction I've had with people that are in the political space and the participation, the what do you call them, the participants on this election. What they were thinking, their thought process was that all along, Nigerian youth will make a lot of noise. They say a lot of stuff. They have a lot of jamboree. But when it comes to the real actualization of that thing, they are laid back. Everybody will like, it doesn't concern me. But they have forgotten that these same youth have gone through a lot in the last 4 years. And people are already frustrated. Look at what happened with the obedient. It is not as if anybody planned it. It's not as if anybody called them and say, hey, come and do this. The thing just came out of nowhere. And
No,
it's honestly,
I beg to differ on that. I think it's something that is structured, it is well orchestrated,
initially, no, 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 no,
and
no, 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 no,
and
no,
it
no,
is
no.
it is
They
well
put a
it
structure
is
to
stage
it.
managed. Let me
No,
tell
no,
you
no,
from
no.
I'm just trying to get the best out of you. So whatever I'm saying now does not necessarily mean that that is what is, but to get the best out of you, let me tell you what they are saying. Some quarters that obedience and the people that work for him use the church, use social media, use tribalism, because Nigeria, since I was born and I've known politics, I've never seen Nigeria divided on on the lines of tribal sentiment as much as this last election, where it became so evident that, oh, who are you? I am Hausa, I am Igbo, I'm Yoruba. I've never seen Nigeria this much divided on lines of tribalism. At the same time, even in the issue of religion, it started from Muslim to Muslim ticket.
Yes,
I
yes.
personally, I mean, this is an opinion. I don't think we should bring religion into it. Though, I mean, with the way Nigeria is structured, it might be good to have both religion represented. I don't think tribal sentiment, religious beliefs, or inclination, I don't think it should come into the phrase of politics, who gets to power. What we need is, can he do it? Irrespective of your gender biases, irrespective of where you come from. Then
No.
it came to I'm also saying that especially the obedient. Now, if we look at the result of the election, Obi came third, far third, with millions in between. But then, I mean, they're all in court now. Atiku is in court, Obedience is in court. I don't know if Kwankwaso is doing anything. I
No.
mean, but his own is inconsequential anyway. So now, if you say that nobody, I think it's a planned work. I
Okay.
think it's a
Let me
planned work.
let me tell you how it all spiral out, because I'm privileged to be a little bit part of the information of what happened.
Yeah,
The,
yeah, we know you are
the,
obedient.
the thing is, no, I follow wherever the Nigerian youth are, and I listen. Like I told you in the beginning, I am the person that I want what is best for Nigeria. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a party. If you know me very well, in the last election before this one, I was rooting and campaigning for Showore for AAC. He was here in Maryland with me when we did the launching. We have all the conversation, we have all the party and everything. I called people, I mobilized
So,
people,
so
I did a lot of
very
stuff.
quickly. So, very quickly, your opinion. So, I mean, what caused the drift? Why did you switch?
Now,
Because
that
a
is
philosophy
what
that you
I
really
wanted to
belong.
explain. That's what I wanted to tell you. What caused the switch was when I sampled the opinion of people and I asked that question. People seems to be tending towards, a politician, not an activist.
Don't
So,
you have your own
and
mindset? I mean, it's
in
supposed to be a matter of philosophy, not
no,
what
no, no, no,
people
no,
say.
no. The end. Okay, this is where I come in. The end of everything is that we want to work for Nigeria, right? We want to do what is right for our country. When this Peter Obi case came up, the people naturally start around it. It was when it starts and they see it as a potential and a way, then the Labour Party leverage on that, and they now put a structure behind it. And that, because if you
Did,
remember,
did
in
the
this,
whole of this tie, did it start with Labour Party?
no, 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 it didn't start with Labour Party. Labour Party actually ride on it. They leverage on it
So
because if you
where did they storm? Where did it come from? Where was the starting point of the obedient movement?
now let me tell you, the starting point of the obedient movement is the mistake that PDP made. And I will say that mistake is their selfish and their own ambition. Because let's be honest with ourselves, PDP gave APC and Tinubu the opportunity. And what happens and what we see today? Because we are all, like you said, we can take religion and ethnicity out of our politics, at least for now. And let me tell you why. In Nigeria, they will say there are three major ethnic groups. When anybody asks you, who are you? In fact, by virtue of hearing your name, they will say, oh, you are Yoruba man. That is what everybody does in Nigeria. First and foremost, I am a Yoruba man before I'm a Nigerian. An Hausa man is an Hausa man first before he's a Nigerian.
But is that how
And
it's supposed
which,
to be?
and which is wrong. That's what I'm
But
saying. And that
okay,
is not supposed to be. But
okay.
unfortunately, from the beginning of the fabric of Nigeria, we have made so much emphasis in what they call this national identity. That is, you must have a federal character. Federal character on itself. is a fraud. I have been a victim of federal character. When I wanted to go to, there's a program I wanted to enroll for when I was still just fresh out of school. They told me that because I'm from the Southwest, our quota is already filled up. You can imagine, we went for an interview, an entrance examination. I scored 86%. I was not given an offer. And another guy that scored 45% from, I think from Kano or so, was admitted into that program. And I queried it, they said because their slots has not been. In fact, as at that time, there's
So
only
that's merit. That's merit against slot.
that is that you can imagine. So that has already been
But is that not fair if we are looking at
no,
the
no,
federal
no, no, no,
character?
no, no,
Well,
no. That is not fair because you are not putting a round peg in a round hole. You are putting it because it is their slot. Somebody must be there from their state, whether they are qualified or they are not qualified. That is when you will see a secondary school dropout becoming a minister of the Federal Republic, when a professor in the Southwest cannot even be a secondary school teacher, all because it is their slot. They must be represented. No, that is not the way but it's already like that. So there's nothing we can do for now until we sit down and have an honest constitutional conference that speak to the need of Nigeria. But let's go back to this basis. When this issue of the politics starts, we know Buhari is from the north. He has ruled for 8 years. Both political parties at the beginning, both APC and PDP, they all knew that okay, this time around, let's give the opportunity and let's zone the presidency to the south. Which originally, if they do that, Atiku would not have come to contest at all for the primaries. And remember, that is what brings about the problem of the G5. And that was what killed the PDP. Because when you come back and say no, Atiku has to contest again, the G5 said no, that is not what we say. In the spirit of fairness and equity, let's zone this thing to the south. They said no, let's throw it open so that everybody will contest.
but if even
Who
if
is
it
going
was
to
thrown to the
contest?
south, even
You
if it was
said?
thrown to the south, even if it was thrown to the south, do you think that that would have even favored Obedient? I mean Obi,
Now,
because
see,
even at the end of the day, he ran for the primaries and he didn't win.
that is because we all know the way the primaries in Nigeria have been conducted. It is not based on merit, it's based on money. It's based on how much you can afford. So there is no way
Did he
if you
not spend
allow
money?
the Atiku to
Did
contest against
Obi not
anybody in
spend
that party.
money? Prince, did Obi not spend money? Did he not try to also win people's heart? Because we know
Hello,
how this money was spent.
listen, there are differences in money and when we are talking about money. Do
So
you
what is
want
the
to
difference?
compare how much Obi can afford to spend and what Atiku will spend?
Is the value about how much, or that they all of them try to do lobbying by trying to
It
bribe
is about
people?
how
No,
much.
okay,
It
wait.
is not about
If I
lobbying.
can, let's say me and you now, let's both of us we are contesting for the same
Yes,
position. Now I
yes,
can afford $1,000 and you can afford
yes,
$5,000. Both
yes.
of us, if we go to the law court, it is going to be the action, not the gravity of it. I mean, it's not about how much that you are paid. Both of us have tried
Um,
to
you,
bribe people. Did
you,
Obi bribe or not? Did he not try to bribe the delegates too?
well, nobody has come out in the public, in the media, to tell us that Obi tried to bribe the delegates. But of
That's what
course,
we're
it
saying.
was in the public. Hello, it was in the public domain that Atiku buy and pay the delegate, and they were coming out to say this is how much we got. Do you listen to the interview of I think was it Ali Ndume or who was interviewed last month that was saying he was not able to get the Senate president in the last Senate because he doesn't have the money. And Arise News was asking him, like, how much do you need to win the Senate president? He said, it is people that has the money. So in Nigerian politics, it's never about highest payer, who has the best money.
As we round up, because we need to go to this new era. We have created so much background, and we are like 1 hour to. So the remaining hour is going to now be about Tinubu, which is this new administration. But as we close, as we close this side of the discussion, I want you to quickly tell me, because now we're discussing Obi. The same system brought Obi into power. I remember Obi was in APGA, then from APGA to PDP, and we all know that he was also a major factor. Most of the people that they worked together, that he now started working against, they are people that they were in the same camp. So, do you think that you can be a revolution against a system that brought you into power?
Yeah, it's possible. Because sometimes when you are not in charge of the system, you follow the system. And at any point in time, you can feel like this system is not working. And that is when we made a mistake as a Nigerian. We judge people with their past, and we stigma people based on what we know about them, but both good or bad. Because somebody was good 10 years ago, 20 years ago, does not mean that it's going to be good this year.
So where does
And for the fact
president
that
and
somebody is
antecedent, where
bad,
does that come? Where does that fit in? There are, because one of the things we used to discuss, I mean, to project into the future is what happened in the past and what is happening now. So we have
but
precedents and antecedents.
but we have to do it with caution,
Yeah, I
because we
agree
are
with
all
that.
human. Let's be honest with ourselves. And as human, we are prone to change, and anything can happen. And let me say it for record, for because many people that hear when I talk and post on social media and everything, they were like, "Oh, this guy is anti Tinubu." No, I have nothing against Tinubu as a person at all.
You have a right
He has
to choose where
he,
you want
he,
to
he
belong.
has done his bit. The only reason why I was not in support of his candidature was the fact that when you get to a point in politics and you have made a name for yourself and you have become a power broker, a power to reckon with, what I as a person will expect you to do is to be a grandfather and advise the young generation and lead them in the way, so that they will consult you. You give them the advice. So everybody was looking up to him and saying, "Hey, you should have at least nominate one of your boy that has done so very well in Nigeria political space today. Either it is Fashola or it is the former vice president. You are so proud of them. You brought them into limelight, but the same you went to contest the primary against your own sons." So for
Okay,
me,
okay. I know because of our time, and I know you still have a lot to do. The distinguished viewers, I'm sure that you have learned a lot. I told you it's going to be a big fish in a big pond, and you have not seen anything yet. If you're just joining, please tell your friends, because now it's going to get hotter. Because now we're going to be going into the Nigeria now, this new era. But when we come back, I would like you to also tell me about this video that I'm going to send to you. I mean, that I'm going to play during the intermission. It might look like a joke, but we're going to look at religion, selfish interest, pride, and we're going to be looking at the impact of coming together from different values when we come back. The program is Your Opinion. Don't forget, your opinion matters just as mine matters. And we have on the hot seat Prince Olakunle Oyerogba, a consultant here based in the United States of America. We'll be coming back after this time out. Please don't go away.
Take it to the mountaintop. If you have never heard it before, I'm saying it to you this morning. In the scheme of things, as far as politics of Nigeria is concerned, President Muhammadu Buhari is number 15, and yours sincerely am number 16. I never said that to you before. I never said that to you before. I make it plain this morning. I let you know it this morning. Nothing can change it. In the name of Jesus, he is number 15. I am number 60. To this end was I born, and for this purpose came I into the world. I prepared you for this for more than 30 years. That's why if he wants to run in 2019, I do not oppose. He's still number 15. It's when he steps out that I step in. His assignment is that of Moses, to take Nigeria to River Jordan, but he can't cross it. He will take a Joshua to go to the other side and begin to distribute resources to the people of this nation.
A friend of mine once told me that if you go to any part of the world and you do not find a Nigeria, leave that place, because there is nothing to do there. If you want the best engineers in the continent, they are Nigerians. If you want the best doctors, they are Nigerians. If you want good lawyers, they are Nigerians. If you want good people, they are Nigerians. But also, if you want Yahoo boys, they are Nigerians.
It took one man to do what government should have done over the years. He's basically embarrassed multiple governments in Nigeria because what he's doing is what government should have done. It took one man to build this refinery, and they can't fix Port Harcourt, they can't fix Warri, they can't fix Kaduna. Isn't that an embarrassment? And he's done it. So he's a hero. And the government should apologize to Nigerians for being so inept and not being able to do what one man has done. And that's why I think he's a great guy. Price is going to go up. You'll be paying market value PMS. The minute he starts, you'll be paying market value. So don't think his refinery is going to make prices drop. You're going to pay market value. For how much are you paying now to fill up your tank?
About 8,000, 10,000.
Then you'll be paying 30,000. Market value. He's not going to do this and subsidize you. He's not going to subsidize you. The government can subsidize you. He will not subsidize you. If he doesn't charge market value, he's going to be broke.
The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment.
You're welcome back. The program is still Your Opinion, coming from the stable of Unicorn Television, where we have a lot of content that you can go on our website, you can go on YouTube, and then you're going to be seeing a lot of content. And I have today on this program, Your Opinion, I have Prince Kunle Oyerogba in the house with me, and we have been talking about Nigeria, and we are just getting straight to the real nitty-gritty of today's program. Prince, you're welcome back.
Yes, welcome.
All right, I'm going to
before we continue, the video that you shared, there are about 4 of them. Do you want me to react in a minute to those?
Yes, we're going to. I'm still going to play them. I just want to create. I just wanted you to start thinking about them. But before you even make any comment, I'm going to just play this video, and I want you to listen closely to the content of the words, and let us see that. Is this just a script, or is this a belief? I would like to hear that from you after the content of this video.
The people have put their trust in us. You have done your part, Mr. President. Now, a great duty will descend on me. I understand the meaning of the honor given to me today and the magnitude of the tax that awaits.
Yes, let's start from the last one. Do you think he understands the magnitude and the weight of what has been given to him?
Well, with all sense of responsibility and duty, I think he knows. Because there's nobody that goes into that office. Initially, he might not, but the moment it dawns on you that, hey, I am sitting on this seat, then you understand the magnitude of the task. One thing is to understand, another thing is that, are you willing to take on the task?
In your own opinion, this is a man that ruled Lagos State for about 8 years. He was the best governor. There's no need to doubt it. He was the best governor during his time. He's the one that created the template that we have now for the Nigerian today, especially taking us to the capitalist economy that we are trying to pursue. So if you agree with that, don't you think that this man knows what he's doing outrightly?
Well, there are 2 sides to a coin. If I agree with that, but I did not agree to that absolutely.
Okay.
And the reason why I didn't agree to it absolutely is very simple. When you are comparing, when you are making a comparison, let's compare apple with apple. Lagos is a cosmopolitan city. Lagos is a federal capital territory before now. Lagos derived its existence not because of whatever Tinubu has done. Let me tell you the truth. Irrespective of whoever become a president, governor of a state like Lagos, you have the abundance of resources to work, and you have the opportunity to even generate more because the opportunities are hard there for Lagos. Let's take, for instance, the first military governor of Lagos State, late Lateef Jakonde. Can you tell me,
The first uh, democratically elected, you wanted to say?
democratically elected, yes, the democratically elected governor of Lagos State, Lateef Jakonde, today, including me, most of us, we are beneficiary of the government of Lateef Jakonde because I went to a school in Lagos. I went to Jakonde school. I live in Jakonde Estate. And Jakonde Estate is all over the whole of Lagos State. When Tinubu was there, the estate that he built was even for the super rich. The common man cannot live in Millennium Estate. Nobody. Average Lagosian cannot afford it.
But do you expect a duplicate of what somebody have done before, or somebody to
Now,
ride on what somebody
what
has put on ground?
what we expect you to do is to take it higher and
Did
do better.
he or did
But
he
if
not, in your own
we
opinion?
measure it, no, if we measure it vis-a-vis the availability of the resources, the technology at your disposal, and what you've achieved, that is why I'm saying that when you say Tinubu has done excellently well, are you comparing it to, let's say, a state like Oyo State? Or you are comparing Tinubu to a state like Nasarawa State?
Yes, 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 I am, and yes,
But
we are.
that is
Because
an
because
unfair,
like if
that
we
is an, that is
if
an
we,
unfair comparison.
no, it's going to be it's going to be relative. Because one, if you have three resources, we are going to judge you by those three resources, how you use them and what you are able to turn them into. If you have 10, that's what I'm looking at. We are looking at the template of, we're not, I mean, nothing is equal in life. So it's going to be the percentage of what you have, resonating with what you did with it. So
Okay.
at the end of the day, we cannot say, okay, oh, those of you who like your IGR is like about maybe,
IGR and all those things.
yes,
So,
we cannot say if you can generate maybe just like about 60 million, we are not going to look at your performance, with somebody who makes like about 1 billion. But how did you use your 60 million? What were you able to do with
okay.
it,
So
relatively?
let me, by the grace of God, I'm a student of statistics, and let me tell you, that is why we have a lot of problem and challenges in Nigeria, because most of time we talk about absolute numbers, and from my own knowledge of statistics, the best measure of anything, evaluating anything, it is not an absolute number. It is actually a relative number, which is most of the time we talk
That's why I
about
said
percentage.
relatively.
So
Relatively.
when you talk about relatively, I can tell you Tinubu did not do anything spectacular, because relatively we are talking about what is available and what did you do.
Are you not being
So
sentimental?
I'm not being sentimental, I'm being
For a
realistic
man,
because I live in Lagos all the
for a
through.
man that did not get any subvention from federal government for 3 years, when he had problems with Obasanjo, and he was still able to pay all salaries and was still building
because
infrastructure in Lagos.
because that money is inherent in the system in Lagos. What
But
he did
but
was
don't you
to
think
harness it and bring
don't
it
you
out.
think that an ordinary person without that kind of acumen, don't you think another person may not be able to do what that fit? Don't you think? I mean, let's leave sentiment out.
Let's be honest with ourselves. I don't think so. Because what happened is that whoever sits on that seat, they say there's something they say in another they say, when we get to the bridge, we cross it. When you find yourself in that situation, and that's what I say, you think outside the box.
But
What he
okay,
simply
okay.
did that
But what
think
if you don't
outside the
get it?
box.
What if you don't know your way to the bridge? What if you never even get to the bridge? I mean, I
No, no,
have
no, no,
heard
no.
that in
That is why we
in
say when we get to the bridge,
if
first and
you get
foremost,
to the
if you don't
bridge,
get to that bridge, then there's nothing to cross.
that's what I'm saying. So
But when you
because
find
he know.
yourself at that crossroad, and what has happened to Tinubu happened, you understand me? Whoever sits in the seat of governor of Lagos State as at that time, we always also find a way around it and do the same because the opportunity and the potential is already there. Only what he did is was to harness it. And believe me, remember something. It takes two people to tango. And this is what people should understand. Everybody said Tinubu did, Tinubu did, Tinubu did. There is nothing like Tinubu did. It's the collective responsibility of the team.
But
that
somebody must bear the
So
brunt. Somebody must take up the
he
responsibility.
coordinated
For
the
success
action.
or for failure, there must be somebody that must
Exactly.
take
I
responsibility for
agree.
it.
I agree 100% with that. And that is why I told you at the beginning that I have no problem, I have no issues with him as a person. No. In all fairness, he has a blueprint, an agenda for Lagos, which successful government after him has been able to, translate into action.
So
But
if you believe that, then why are you not saying that he has not done anything? Because the Lagos that we have
no, no,
now,
no.
the
Get me
Lagos
right.
that we have now was blueprinted by Tinubu.
Get me right. I didn't say he did not do anything. I said he has not done anything spectacular. He did. Just like a measure of what other people have been. He did. But nothing that what this, accolade of my Lagos. Today, I don't know whether you read in the statistic of last week, the Premium Times said Lagos is the fourth worst state to live. The fourth worst state to live. So and if you now say
Premium Times was talking about not about the economy. He's talking about things like congestion.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about.
But we're not
Because
talking about congestion.
the
We're
road
talking
network
about,
is bad. In fact, somebody said in the interview I was listening to yesterday, he said it
me
was
and
like
you, we lived in Lagos when we were much younger, right?
Yes.
Can you
yes.
compare the Oshodi that we had in the before Tinubu, or even can you compare it to after Tinubu? Because now if you go to the Oshodi okay, or the Oshodi Saleh, you go to
Yes.
Apapa. When Tinubu came, he made a blueprint that
Yes.
other successful governors are following. Lagos has a 50-year developmental plan, and they have been following it through. So don't you think Tinubu impacted on infrastructures like that?
The same way every other government has impacted infrastructure of their state. I lived about 4 years in Delta State, in Anambra State. That is in the early 2000 to 2011, 2012. When I went back to Delta State in 2016, practically I couldn't recognize the place anymore. A lot of flyover has sprang up, a lot of bridges and everything, different from when I was there 4-5 years ago. The same thing with Anambra State. The same thing factually in every other state. Now, what we are saying is that Lagos State is nothing spectacular compared to the resources that is in Lagos State. For me, the Lagos State that I am envisioning, that I'm thinking, should be like a Dubai, because we have everything that can make Lagos State to be one of the best cities to live in.
Are you isolating Lagos State now out of Nigeria? Because Lagos is just one state. Because when you look at Dubai is not just Dubai. We're looking at the national wealth that we have. Might not be equally shared among the state. I mean, there are some of these things that is actually expected of federal government. Remember what Ben Bruce said in that video, because I'm still going to play it back.
Yes.
So when we look at it, there are some things that they are supposed to be shared assets, not only for a state. Federal government is supposed to do its own. Anyway, we'll get to that when we are talking about Tinubu as a president. We are talking about Tinubu as a former governor now. So to round up this one before we go to the next one, because of our time, the Tinubu that you know as a governor and the Tinubu that we now have as a president, are you seeing anything better than what he has done before? Whether he has done anything absolutely spectacular or not, do you see anything better from what he's going to do now?
Well, I really would say, I won't say that I know Tinubu now, but I knew him before. In fact, I've had a one-on-one conversation with him during his time as a governor of Lagos State, because I remember there was a time we had a protest where one of our students in Yabatek was killed in 2000. So we took a protest to the government house in Alausa, and myself, the student union president then, and a couple of us, so he invited us to his office. We have a discussion. He told us about it. In fact, he opened their canteen and their stuff for us, and he gave us food as students and everything, that we should not worry, he's going to address it.
So you have benefited from Tinubu before.
I have not benefited. They killed one of our students. That's not a benefit. We did not benefit.
That was not Tinubu. That was
During
not
that
Tinubu.
protest, it is the government of Lagos State. So I don't know whoever held
I
the
know, I
government
know
of
the
Lagos State is
incident.
not
I know the
accountable.
incident. It was the police, and don't forget that the police force, they are not answerable to the state government, to the state
No, 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 no,
governor.
no. It was not police that killed the student. What happened was that if under the bridge of Jibowu leading to Yabate, we've been writing to the governor of Lagos State and we have been protesting that the place is so dark, there should be a street light on that road leading to
Oh, okay.
the school gate. So that at least if that place is lit up, it will hinder the activity of this nefarious activity, which the government didn't listen to us. They keep telling us they will do, they will do. We were asking for school bus that they can assist us. They said they will, but they never did anything until that boy was killed. And the boy that was killed was an HND 2 student that's supposed to graduate, one of our top students. So that created a problem. But by the way, then that was Tinubu of 1999-2000.
It
Very
wasn't.
vibrant young man that, that knows how to talk to us, and then he got something. But the Tinubu of 30 years later, we all have this idea that because somebody has done it before, I don't say Tinubu doesn't know what to do or he cannot do anything. But my concern is that the technology, the issues, what we need right now, we need somebody that can carry everybody along, that people can feel and relate with. But honestly, I have no issue with Tinubu. The only thing is that
I
just
want
like
you
the
to answer my
situation,
question. I want to answer my question. I
okay,
want you to answer my question. Do you
what,
see Tinubu of this new era? Do you see him doing better than Tinubu as a governor?
honestly, I don't think so. I didn't see him as somebody that will do better. What you have seen now, yeah, maybe that will lead us to your next question. Tinubu of today, of present now. What you have just seen now in Tinubu's action in the last 1 month, it is what I term as Andrew Liversalt kind of performance. You know what it is? When you get
Erosia.
Andrew Liversalt and you pour it inside water, it will give you that bubble, and after
It
a 20
simmers down.
seconds, everything settles down. This is the same thing that happened in every transition. 1999, when Obasanjo come into government, the first 1 month, what did he do? He sacked all the service chief. He changed all the security apparatus. It's a normal thing that everybody must do. And why are they doing it? Because I am the
Did
head of the government,
did
the
you say
commander-in-chief
must
of the
or
Federal
should do?
Republic.
Eh,
Is that what?
Are you saying it is what everybody must do or what
No,
everybody
no,
is
no, no, no.
expected
It
to
is
do?
not a must, but it's what most of them will do. You know why they are doing it? We are all very simple. We are all students of history. I don't want to be a victim of circumstances. I will not put people that cannot be proud and assured of their loyalists, because I wasn't appointing. I was not the one that appointed them. Somebody else put you there to serve his purpose. I am coming in. I want to work with the best people that I trust, that I want to work with. Obasanjo came, he changed all the service chief. When Obasanjo left and Yaradua came, Jonathan, he changed all the service chief. The same way, when Buhari came, he also changed all the service chiefs. So this is a kind of a normal thing that we see in Nigeria, because you know why it is happening like that? Because we have not been able to separate politics from professionalism. Most of our top excellence in the security architecture, they tend to become political bias. And look at the case of what happened with the chief of army staff. Look at what happened with the governor of central bank, for instance.
Yeah,
Now,
okay.
in a
I
same,
think you're already running into my head, and you already like you're preempting what I was going to say. I want us to first of all start with the service chiefs. Now these are the newly appointed service chiefs.
yes,
And let's quickly run through them. Are these good choices? Can you say these are? Let's start with no Ribadu. Can you say, look at them, Maram Nurudu is national security. Do you think these people, do you think they are good as a team? Yeah, are they good picks?
you see, looking at this team, first and foremost, I don't have a personal working relationship or know some of them apart from Nuru Ribadu. And Nuru Ribadu, we know him to be one of, at least is a pioneer chairman of EFCC, and I can give it to him that he did his bid when he was in EFCC. But mind you, that is how many years ago? That is almost like 30 years ago, right? 1999 to date. So it's been a long time. I don't know what has happened between then and now to even the Nuru Ribadu. Because Nuru Ribadu
But the way
was
you are, your opinion now from what you're saying is like maybe there has been some measure of deterioration of integrity or personality. Why are you not looking at it? There could be an appreciation of that
now,
integrity.
okay, this is how I will not look at it that way. Because Nuru Ribadu has become a politician. As at his time in EFCC, he wasn't a politician. He was a professional. He was a police officer appointed to head an agency,
He's
and
a
he did his
citizen of
job.
the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's entitled to be he's a citizen of the Federal Republic of
Exactly.
Nigeria. It is his right to join politics. I
It's
have also
his
been
right.
in politics. I
It's
have
his right.
attempted to go to the House of Reps.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, it's anybody's right. It does not mean that it could be a depreciation of integrity or personality.
No, that is not what I'm trying to intend in my intention. What I'm saying is that the situation that surrounded him as EFCC chairman is antecedent before he become an EFCC chairman, and now they are two different things. He has left the active service. He has become a politician. Now he's coming back to head a national security agency, which for me, there's nothing wrong about it, because I can't take what is, and I know him for one thing. He has the intellectual capacity. He has the integrity as at that time, and he is one of the very brave police officer that has really helped Nigeria a lot in terms of security architecture.
So if you believe that, I think as people grow, a lot of things, qualities about them also appreciate. Why are you now doubting his his ability?
I am
Because
not
you said
doubting-
30 years ago,
I'm not doubting his
the
ability.
same thing you said about Tinubu, that the Tinubu of then, that was 30 years ago. Don't you believe that these people may have, or they should have appreciated in terms of quality?
No,
performance.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. And I'm not doubting anything about their integrity or personality or anything. I'm only saying that I cannot say absolutely this is what any one of them will do or what they will be. The only thing is that in this appointment, if you look at it, I've also seen a demonstration of the what they call the federal character. Southwest has two. I think Northwest also has two, because I can see that then we have Southeast. I think out of all these appointments, the one that is conspicuously still missing is the North Central, according to the analysis that we had. But for me, we cannot always, and this is a problem. If we continue about this issue of federal character, everybody must be represented. You must pick one from my house, you must pick one from my state. What if the person that's supposed to be in that role from your state is not qualified or competent? Must he be there? No.
You know, when I was looking at the appointment, I look at it. If you look at it characteristically, any president that comes to power actually wants to delve more, especially in terms of security, around where he comes from, because he needs also
It's
to
normal.
yeah, it's
That is what I
normal.
was telling you.
Because everybody needs loyalty. It's about their life. You want to put your you want to put your government, your
Exactly.
life in the hands of people that you know. Even him choosing Nuru Ribadu, that is not somebody who is from the west, where Tinubu comes from. Tinubu is from is from southwest. I mean, you get what I'm saying. Now he's chosen an Hausa man or somebody from the north, and that's the national security advisor. A lot of people question is like, hey, what if this guy decides to compromise?
No, there is something we need to understand. If you trace it back, Nuhu Ribadu and Tinubu has a very long-standing relationship,
Yes.
and
Very.
they've come a long way together. And I don't see Ribadu as somebody that wants to sabotage his government. No. So in the kind of appointment that he has made, I have no issue about it. He has made a good choice.
Look,
And
in terms of loyalty,
It's
in terms
fine.
of loyalty, who made Ribadu? Is it Tinubu or Obasanjo?
Well, I would say that Obasanjo discovered him, but I would not necessarily say that he made him, because Obasanjo discovered a lot of people and he brought a lot of people into government, even
Now,
including Atiku himself.
Where I'm trying to get to is like now in issues of loyalty, let's look at it. He discovered him, but now he's working against the philosophies of Obasanjo. That's a clear cut case. Now he's on the side of Tinubu. How do you see that working?
No. Don't let us mix up issues. He's not working against the concept of policy for Obasanjo. If Obasanjo say I'm not supporting Tinubu, does not mean that doesn't support Nigeria or doesn't want Nigeria to work. They are two different things. So
But Obasanjo said it clearly that the only person that can do it is Obi. He said it was
yeah,
so.
that is his
So
own personal. That is his own
okay,
personal
it's an
decision.
opinion.
That
It's
is
an opinion.
that is his own
It's an
opinion.
opinion because we are not subjected to just like we are saying our own opinion. These are
Yeah,
our own opinions.
that is his own opinion.
I agree with you.
And he's entitled to his own opinion. He's free to choose whoever he choose to work with. But that does not mean that Ribadu, no Ribadu does not have a choice. He has his own choice. Just the same way with all the rest of them. General Musa, General Lagbaja, Rear Admiral Ogala, Abubakar Egbetokun, and all of them, I can guarantee you something. All these people that you have here, they will want to impress the commander in chief, and they want to
So
do their job.
so the service chiefs, are they first of all responsible to the nation or to the office of the president?
Of course, they are responsible to the office of the president as well as the nation. Because remember, the office of the president is what? The commander in chief of the army forces. So meaning that they report to him. So he
So
is their
that's what I'm saying.
boss.
You know, I remember some on one of my programs back in the days. You know, when we were still young in in broadcasting. I remember I was asking somebody the question. I was saying that when all these appointments, are they supposed to protect the interest of their principal, or are they supposed to work? And I remember, I think it was a retired military officer. I can't really remember. I can't really remember who the person is, but I know the person was maybe a retired governor or something. Maybe Buba Marwa. I can't remember who I was asking that question. And he said, first of all, if I have a government, I am the most important because I am the only one that makes my government. Once I'm there, it's another person's government. So he said, those service chiefs have to service me first to make sure that they service me, and then that's when they can serve the nation. Because if I'm out, they are out. And do you agree with that?
To some extent, I agree. And that is why I said, remember that I appointed you. I am the commander in chief of the army forces. Your loyalty is number one to me because I want to, but my own loyalty is to the Nigerian people. So it's the same thing because I want to succeed. And if I succeeded, it means that Nigeria succeeded. So if you are working and your loyalty is to me and my loyalty is to the Nigerian people, then we are all working on the same purpose. So we are not working across purpose. So it is either, except if the president's loyalty is not to Nigeria. But if you are to serve, as you told us in your oath of office, everybody that you appointed also supposed to share your oath of office. So they are also there to serve. So because if something happened tomorrow and there's change of government, it is almost certain that all these service chiefs also will go because no other government will come in and want to work with the service chief that doesn't know. I also want to work with people that I know, and I want to work with people that I'm comfortable with. And the same thing has happened right from the beginning of the Nigeria as a sovereign state.
Okay. I want us to just quickly round up with these service chiefs and other appointments. I want you to quickly take a look at this list that I have on the screen too. You'll see there are some popular faces, common names that we all know, like Buba Marwa, Kazim Olalekan, you know. Quite a number of them are people that their names have sprung up here and there. Do you think this is another good list, especially the appointment of these service chiefs and other people? These are security appointments, you know. Do you think he has made a good pick?
For me, I wouldn't be able to say he is the one that made the appointment and he knows why he chose people that he has chosen. But just like what I told you, as an HPO trainer, we always say that your organization will deliver the result that you have decided to deliver. So if you have chosen these people, and that is an evidence to say you trust them and you want them to work with you, and then they are going to deliver the result that you are expected, because that is the way it works. So
somebody was criticizing him. We sat down somewhere and then somebody was criticizing his appointment of a lot of Yoruba men and women in some of the offices that he has appointed. And the thing is, like I said, what has changed? When Abacha was there, you have to choose people that you trust. So like we see Wale Edon, coming up and all that.
Anybody that accuse him or says such, then the person must be ignorant of Nigerian political space, because
or any space
or any space at all, anywhere. let me take for instance, look at when Trump was the president of the United States, who did he appoint? Even his own in-law,
Yeah,
his own cousins and uncles and all of them in the
that is
government with him.
Egbetokun.
So
That is the
that is
new.
Egbeto.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So
Egbetokun being
what do you
decorated by
expect me to
Shetima.
do? You give me the mantle of leadership. I am in charge of the government, and you expect me to appoint people that I don't know. You want me to appoint people that I don't
Exactly.
trust? It's a normal thing. When Obasanjo became president in 1999, he surrounded himself with all the people that, in fact, there was a comment that I don't know how far it is true, but there's something that we had that when he wanted to appoint his ADC, that they gave him all the list of the people and he invited them up to a room and he came into the room and he spoke to them in Yoruba and said, the one that is in Yoruba among them answer him in Yoruba and say, Epele sir, he said, so because he wanted to, it's a matter of my security, my safety. How will you give me somebody that doesn't understand my language to become my ADC? So how will I have someone that cannot trust as my chief security officer? So my chief
Exactly.
security officer might be my best friend, someone that I can trust. It's a normal thing that happens in any climate in any part of the world. So there's nothing special about it. And I've told you, I don't have anything against Tinubu as a person. On that one, I cannot fault him. That is the normal thing anybody will do anytime, any day. You will choose to work with the best people that you trust, even his special advisors, his secretary to the federal government, the chief of staff and everything. Those are the normal things that you will do because those are the closest people and the best people to work with him. So definitely it is naturally important that you surround yourself with people that you trust and people
Okay,
that share your
okay.
vision.
Because
The
of
only
our time,
place, the only
because of
place I will ask him to take caution is
yes.
he should not, and as a matter of importance, he should not hand over the ministries to compensate politicians. Let's put the right people that has capability, that knows what they are doing, that you can give your political friend any kind of agencies, whatever that you think you want to give them some other things to do, but don't hand over the crucial ministries in Nigeria to compensate politicians. Look at the man that was talking, the Minister of Education, Buhari's minister, coming to the podium, the national television, to come and tell us that when he was appointed, he know nothing about education. That he called people that they should come and help him. And we know the consequences of what happened in education under the 8 years. As well as the worst kind of strike. The education system went into almost abysmal performance. So
It's
that is to tell you the consequence of putting a square peg in a round hole. If somebody
okay.
can come and tell you that doesn't know anything about it and you appointed him to become a minister of what he
Well,
knows nothing about.
we're talking about this era. So anytime we try to talk about this era, definitely we have to make some comparison with maybe the other eras that we've had.
Yeah, of
Everybody
course.
knows that this last dispensation was one of the worst, especially when it comes to education. One of the worst when
Yeah,
it comes
and
to
we all know
education.
the reason why it is like that.
Yeah, I mean, we all know. So now, are we looking at a better era under? Now we're going to talk about the student loan, especially. I think that's the first thing that he has actually said when it comes to terms of education, apart from addressing the labor union. So, what do you think about the student loan? Very quickly. I don't want us to take too much time on.
I will tell you authoritatively, student loan is a scam. Student loan is a scam. In Nigeria, what do you call a student loan? Who is
But
going to pay the loan?
the students,
The student? The
yes,
student that got a job or the one that doesn't have a job?
but it's going to be a bond.
Which kind of bond? Who's going to provide him the job? Because we have millions of students that out of university that doesn't have anything to do. The Nigerian students are out there riding, doing Marua and Okada and all kind of job. So where is the job for this person that want to get a student loan? Because by the time you give him a student loan, he's going to school to go and study the same thing others have studied that they're outside in the market that they don't get a job. So who is going to pay the loan? Is it the student or his generation? Or
Perhaps, I
his
mean,
children or
perhaps
his
maybe,
parents?
I mean, don't let us judge them, yes, too quickly because maybe they have, maybe they are going to provide jobs for them.
Really?
It
See,
could be a
let's
bond
be let's be
because
let's
if
be
I
let's be
sponsor
practical.
you,
Let's be
I'm not speaking on
practical
their.
in our analysis.
I'm not.
What
I'm
a
not.
student needs, what the student in Nigeria needs, let's be honest with ourselves, as at this point in time, it's not a loan. It is either you are going to give them a grant or you are going to subsidize education, then provide them with a creative an opportunity to become a job creator,
But
not
don't you
giving
think,
them
okay,
a
the
loan.
grant is still financing education, right? It's still a measure of spending money. But when you give them loans, loans means that you have to, so it means government is not losing. It means that you have to pay back at whatever time you get a job. Now, government may have a design. We have not seen them come out to come and tell us the template of what they actually want to do. But there might be a design that if you take our loan, definitely we
Yes.
must provide you the job. When we were, as I remember when I was in the civil service back in the early 90s, I was a student and I was also working. There was this bond that we signed. They are sponsoring you. You get scholarship and government is still. So you sign a bond that when you are done, you are working with them. It is possible. The civil service that we have now is just because it's been infiltrated by too many people that are not supposed to be there. Maybe Tinubu has a plan to kind of, what do you call that thing? To remove all the ghost workers. Because the ghost
Okay.
workers that we have in Nigeria, they're even more than the
So,
workforce.
before we go too far into the ghost work or anything, let's first of all go back and look at joint admission matriculation board examination. Every year we were told that over 2 million Nigerians are applying to write JAMB. And the last time I checked, the universities in Nigeria, all put together, the total admission in a year for intake, they said it was about 60, or was it 60 or 60 something thousand or
No, it's more
thereabout,
than that. I think it's
or,
about,
or maybe around
I think
or maybe
about
600,000,
160,000.
or maybe 600 and something thousand, every intake every year. Now, if you have that, even in the United States of America, with all the education loan and everything, student loan, what happened in America of recent now? Biden is proposing that you are going to give them student loan forgiveness, debt forgiveness. This is a country where things are working, where student has a job when they come out of the school, and they can still not pay the loan, and they are now asking, government is trying to give them debt forgiveness to pay to write off their student loan. How much more in Nigeria, where you cannot even guarantee a job, and you want to give me a loan? If I take the loan just because I want to go to school, then I'm going to have another. In fact, I suspect if care is not taken, you will see a high number of students committing suicide when they come out of university, because when they
Or
see
even
the amount
people
of
go,
money,
or after collecting the loan, you don't see them again. They
or
just go on
after
a
collecting
roll.
the loan, they took up the japa. They collect the loan and japa. But I think the government also will be careful enough not to disperse the loan to them anyway. This loan
Okay.
will be paid directly to the school to pay for whatever they want to pay. So,
That,
because
that's
if
why.
you give
That's
me any
why.
student loan, I will not go to school. Give me
Yeah.
a student loan and give me the cash, I will run away, because I know that when I
I
finish
don't.
the
I
school, I
don't.
won't
I
get
don't.
a job.
I don't know if anybody that is in government is watching this. I know somehow it has a way of, because they are always monitoring what we do. I hope they will listen to what you just said now, because there's no need to actually give, if they want to really go on that project. There's no need to
No,
give anybody that money.
there is no
Pay it to the
need.
school so that it's going to be like the free education that they did back then.
That is exactly where I'm going to. That's what I said. What the student need is not actually a student loan, because you are giving me a student loan to go and do what? To pay back to the government.
Make
How many of
education
the schools?
affordable and
Most of these schools
accessible.
are owned by the federal government. How many schools are private owned? How many schools are government owned? So the money that you are giving me to pay the student loan, is it going to back to the government cover, or is it going back to a private pocket? So if the money is okay, for example, I'm going to University of Lagos, which is a federal government school. Then you give me a student loan. I'm paying it back to the federal government. So what is the essence of giving me the loan? Why don't you do this? Why don't you make the school very conducive? Why don't you get all the facility that I need and get everything there, and then use that money to create a job and give an
Okay.
opportunity that when I
Okay.
come out of school, I can get a job.
Thank you so much, Prince Kunle Oyerogba. I think I love your take on that. So that you actually opened my own eyes to something. I don't want us to take too much because of our time. I don't want us to do too much on this student. Now, subsidy, one of the most trending issue in Nigeria right now. Oh, subsidy is good. Oh, subsidy is a scam. There's never been anything called subsidy. Oh, subsidy is just a means of eating money. Subsidy is actually good because it will cushion the effect of overpricing. And what is wrong with subsidy?
You know, when I hear subsidy, I laugh, because Nigeria is just a charade, and everything about that subsidy is just another level of scam. Do you know? Let me tell you something for free. Do you know why Tinubu says subsidy is gone? It is
Why?
simply to provide a soft landing for Dangote refinery. It's a very simple political calculation. Now, Dangote refinery is coming on stream. He's going to refine fuel. He's going to sell to the population, to the open market. Do you expect Nigerian government to subsidize petrol coming or the gas coming from Dangote refinery? The Nigerian government will not subsidize for Dangote. And if they cannot subsidize for what Dangote is refining and producing, definitely the landing price of Dangote will be more than the pump price of Nigeria, which is 198. So if you don't remove subsidy, automatically you are taking Dangote out of business.
No.
Because
I beg to differ on that. If government decide to leave subsidy, or if there has ever been subsidy, because subsidy is actually supposed to cushion the effect of high price, right? Now, if let's say there is subsidy, it means that whatever the pump price is supposed to be, government has paid a percentage of that price, right? Now let's look at it. If it doesn't matter, somebody is paying. It doesn't matter. In fact, if I'm going to play that video again where Ben Bruce was talking about.
Hold on. Let me explain the difference between the two. When NNPC is importing the gas, the petrol, what happened is this. Remember, we have a crude that is exchanged, refined somewhere, and NNPC is the sole importer. The subsidy we are talking about is when NNPC bring in the product.
Is NNPC the sole exporter of the crude?
Importer of the petrol.
Who exports our crude oil?
Of course, export of our crude oil is done at the terminal. They have people that have the oil well and all their technicalities, because the crude oil is not my problem. The crude oil is generating income. So but
in most cases, is like an exchange. I give you crude
oil.
No.
They are different. The crude oil that is export for commercial purpose, where Nigeria generates income, is a different ball game.
No, we're talking about the one that is returned.
The 680,000 barrel or whatever. I think 680,000 barrel that was used to exchange for the refined petrol is a different thing. So that is the one that go for exchange. And when this exchange is coming in, let me tell you, the whole of this subsidy, there's a lot of scam in it, because they will tell you that, okay, they are subsidizing the petrol. We agree. The landing cost of petroleum, distribution cost, getting into all the gas stations and everything is higher than the pump price. But has anybody care to ask you, or has anybody care to ask, what happened to all other derivatives of this crude oil when they go to refine it? Why are we talking only about petrol? What happened to every other thing that is derived from the crude oil? That is lost in transit. Nobody cares about that. Now, the petrol comes back, and then you said there is subsidy.
But the truth is, subsidy is not only for the PMS. That's the truth.
Now we are hearing that they are even subsidizing electricity tariff. There are a lot of things now that the government is subsidizing that we never know before. But if we are subsidizing petrol, agree. You want to remove it. Remember, this same government of Bola Tinubu, when Jonathan want to remove subsidy, they are the one that went on street to protest. And they said there is nothing like that.
At what point was Tinubu involved? Tinubu has not been in power since he left the governor, as governor of Lagos State.
And Buhari were the combination of APC that went to protest Jonathan government because of subsidy.
All of us protested subsidy.
But
no. In fact, Tinubu, it was not even in the script, because I was a part of that protest. I have known Tinubu back from school too. I've known, because that time it was a major financier for NADECO, and then I was the student representative for Campaign for Democracy. So we were always meeting, and I know him, and he has played a lot of roles, in Nigerian democratic development. So even if he supports an agitation, the government that we had then was a very, very corrupt government, because there's nothing wrong with fuel subsidy.
I want you to be conscious of the word that you are using. It's a very, very corrupt government. Yes. How corrupt is that government compared to the past administration? We know where we are in terms of corruption.
That government, which was the government of Jonathan, was very corrupt, and the government that succeeded it too was very corrupt.
No, was very, very corrupt. Let's use the correct adjective. Yes, Jonathan was very corrupt, but we thought that we are going to be better. But the one that came after Jonathan was very, very corrupt.
Was it the government that was corrupt, or one of the principal players in that government that was corrupt,
Well,
or both?
unfortunately, when the head is rotting from the top. So there is nothing that goes on in any government. And remember, as at that time, Jonathan was working hand in hand with the signing, Madueke, what is her name? And in the last government that just went, the Buhari held the petroleum ministry as the minister of petroleum for 8 years. And what happened at the end of the 8 years? We all end up in the same bucket of subsidy.
For the sake
So
of our viewers
subsidy.
that are watching, I want to just quickly say this. It might sound like it's a joke, but do you know that there was a former minister in Nigeria, a female minister, that his brazier and jewelries cost more than the GDP of some countries in the West?
Of course, that is the
West
consequence
African
of
region.
corruption. When you make government to become a
Somebody's
pasapia of
brazier and
you use
jewelry.
appointment to compensate your girlfriend and your mistress and all the people around you. What do you expect? Because that is only what they know, and that's what they do.
Actually, I mean, when we talk about all these things, there are things that actually can lead us to crying, you know. Well, subsidy, because of our time, because we need to round up as soon as quickly as possible. Let's talk about Emefiele.
What is Elemewele? Emefiele.
Is he a hero or a villain?
You see, that is another ball game entirely. And all these things happen only in Nigeria. In a country where there's no regulation and there's no conscience. How can a sitting governor of a central bank become a card-carrying member of a political party?
And
And
even
apart from
taking
that,
it,
now went to go and contest for the primaries of a presidential election, and he lost the primaries and come back again to continue as the governor of central bank. Is, of course, there's a conflict of interest. There's going to be a conflict of interest. So I don't care, and I don't know who his interest is working for or who is not working for. But the first thing that should have happened is the moment he declares his interest in a political party and he becomes a card carrying member, he should leave that role and then focus in his politics. You cannot hold the governor of central bank in one hand and then you are contesting primaries of election as the president in one hand. Let's assume that he won the primaries. Will he have continued as the governor of central bank and then carrying and the
in
president
your own
and the
opinion,
president
in
candidate?
your own opinion, who do you think should be held responsible for this indulgence? Is
Of
it
course,
Mr. President?
of
Is
course
it
it
the
is
Constitution?
of course it is the Mr. President. Do you know that executive president of Nigeria is a very powerful president? It's an executive government that we run. Everything
What about
stops.
the House of Assembly? What were they looking at?
House of Assembly,
What
the
was
night
INEC
are
looking
you
at?
talking about the night assembly that passed?
Yes, the Night Assembly.
That is a rubber stamp assembly. Now they told you themselves. They said we are going to work together with this government. Whatever the government wants is what we do. They are rubber stamp.
Then
Somebody that
what
can
was
approve
INEC looking at? They are supposed to,
assembly,
because there are
assembly that can
regulations.
assembly that can approve ways and means without any blink of an eye, even when the whole world is saying don't approve it. When president brings anything to the table, he say yes. We all know that the former Senate president is a go-to boy. So anything they send him on the dirty job, whatever they want to do, his own is just to say yes to it. So and they don't say anything wrong in whatever Mr. President has done because they all benefit from these larges. They
Okay,
share all these things.
okay. This Mr. Emefiele that we're talking about, the former governor of Central Bank, who now is in incarceration. Do you think it is deja vu or a vendetta what Tinubu has done by setting?
For me, I don't really think it's a vendetta or deja vu. I think what I would say is that it is just a normal consequences of action. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So what you did, you need to come and explain. And remember, before Tinubu came into power, remember there have been a lot of accusation against him.
Yeah, I
There's been a
remember
lot, a lot.
this is one of the times that they invited him to face the committee in the past regime, because he has faced EFCC, he has faced the House of Rep, he has been
That's
to
what I'm
the
telling
Senate,
you.
and yet this man still wants to become president of Nigeria.
That is what I'm telling you, that it is somebody that has a lot of baggages around his neck. Remember, there was a time they invited him to the National Assembly. He refused to attend. He told them he's not coming.
The picture I just showed you was the third time when he now eventually showed
yeah.
up. After
They
refusing.
invited him. He refused to show up. Who does that?
But you know, some of the members of the House of Representatives, because when they call themselves distinguished or honorable, I said, what is honorable about them? Do you know some of them have the gumption, the guts to say that, oh, he actually said he will not be able to be around, and he did contacted them. I mean, that is the highest institution of our law.
But we all understand why. We all understand why they do that. Because all these people that call themselves honorable, they have no honor anywhere. This is the same Emefiele that is helping them to launder money. It is the same person that he has all the information. He knows how much money they are investing. He knows how much money they have been helping them to take abroad and everything. So he has it to say on them. If you want to talk, and that is one thing about Nigerian politics, as long as you are on the side of government, you are a good man. The moment that you went away from government, then you have become a criminal. So that is the problem we have with Nigerian government. At least our former president told us that everybody that crossed from a party to APC, whatever the crime they have committed, they will be forgiven. That was all the party chairman was saying for a while. Oshiomhole, once you come to APC, your sins are forgiven.
As what? Is it that those things, I mean, we should just wash it and just make it look like they never existed?
They just make sure that they make it look as if it never existed. We see somebody in the prison that is winning an election. Those who are probably with all the barrage of crime and allegation against him, what did they say? They said it is an allegation. As long as he has not been convicted, they cannot use it against him. There are a lot of them. Look at all the dossier of all our honorable or dishonorable members. You see not the same thing that is happening?
Okay. Well, I'm going to let us quickly go on a short break, and I want to play something a little bit comic. You know, it's about Emefiele. It was done by one of our friends who is a skit maker. It might sound funny, but I want us to just look at it and what he's saying, and if actually we can relate anything from it. When we come back, we'll be talking about what Ben Bruce said and how that is going to impact on Nigeria. Don't go away. The show is still on.
Those who feel they want to support him, to fight me, come out. Let's fight.
Oṣé Olifide Melefiele.
Wẹ́lẹ́mi ewele Tyson.
Mohammed Godwin Ali.
Eré yìí ti fẹ́ mọ́ lé o.
Ṣé bo ni àwa fight yẹ? Oya dúró báyìí. Wá sẹ́.
Mò ń bọ̀.
Okay.
Honourable Bala. Ẹ yá mi 1 minute.
Last money bender.
Èèyàn style bender.
Ìgbọ́ dáadáa.
Ṣé o mọ kirikiri?
Mo mọ kirikiri mọ̀nàkà yìí.
Mo fọ́ o.
Kódà mo máa lágbọn ìyàgàn kú pàǹtí.
Ọmọ kìíní ní ọ̀rẹ́ gan. Mo sọ fún ẹnjọ́ ní pé ọjọ́ iwájú ni.
Abẹ́ rí bó ṣe jẹ́ to be let us pray.
Ara rẹ̀ wá balẹ̀ bí ẹni wọ́n rọ̀ lóye.
Àánú rẹ̀ sì ti ń ṣe mí.
Ṣé bí ṣe policy ń nà mọ́?
Kí ló rò bóyá ń rò báwọn náà?
Ẹ̀wọ̀n ni.
Good afternoon everybody. Ṣé tí ká?
Vice President.
Thank you. Esa chesi lẹ́lu mi feel.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him.
Mose. Ọ̀gá sákìlẹ̀tà rẹ̀ ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ àbí.
Yes, of course.
Laja don show.
Ṣọ̀nsà. Àwọn pàǹkẹ́rẹ́ àtàwọn kòbókò yẹn rẹ̀ máa bá mi kó wọn bọ̀.
Okay, sir.
Àsàrà ìlú mọ̀ kó bọ̀. Ó wà bí ẹyin boot.
Filẹ̀ fún gbàjà.
My chief of staff. Mi dúpẹ́.
Chief of staff.
My vice president.
Emefiele want us to fight him, we fight him today.
Bàjá ńlá. Èké money. Emefiele dáná lónìí. Ìyàn ti sùrọ̀.
Chief of staff. Kọ́lẹ́tà.
Vice president. Bọ́bọ̀ ǹdànù. Inú lọ́kàn.
Pẹ̀lú policy òfò yẹn Emefiele fúnra ẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé lẹ́yìn election straight to ẹ̀wọ̀n ni.
Ibo ni ó gbà lọ.
Ẹ̀yìn kò lè Senate building yìí já sí kirikiri.
So bọ̀bọ̀ ìjẹ́ ń túbà.
Orí táyì rẹ̀ bí okun ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀.
CNC today. Àwọn dà.
Àwọn náà wọlé lẹ́nu gate.
Àyè Emefiele ó ti ṣe gbàrà.
Tọ́nà bá fọ́ọ̀mù bí pọ́ dákú lónìí nǹkan.
Á lù tí ó fi jí.
Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí bọ̀bọ̀.
My president.
Tó ti pa àwọn DSS.
Yes, sir.
Wọ́n ti dé.
Yes, sir.
Ìyẹn pọ̀ṣẹ̀ tí.
Olórí oko bá mà.
Dàjà ọmọ ńlá.
Ó wà.
Gbà síbẹ̀ Dóngóyárò ọmọ ìyá yìí.
My president.
Chinon so how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Arákùnrin policy changer yẹn dà.
Ó wà mí gọ́mẹ̀ ẹ̀sà.
Ẹja máa lọ́nu lè ká lọ gbọ́ tẹnu.
Okay, sir.
Káwọn DSS dẹ́ẹ̀ máa prepare Black Maria tí ó gbé lọ pàǹtí.
It took one man to do what government should have done over the years. He's basically embarrassed multiple governments in Nigeria because what he's doing is what government should have done. It took one man to build this refinery, and they can't fix Port Harcourt, they can't fix Warri, they can't fix Kaduna. Isn't that an embarrassment? And he's done it. So he's a hero. And the government should apologize to Nigerians for being so inept and not being able to do what one man has done. And that's why I think he's a great guy. Price is going to go up. You'll be paying market value PMS. The minute he starts, you'll be paying market value. So don't think his refinery is going to make prices drop. You're going to pay market value. For how much are you paying now to fill up your tank?
About 8,000, 10,000.
Then you'll be paying 30,000. Market value.
market value, you pay 30,000 to buy gas.
Mm-hmm.
30,000.
That
What
was
is
even
it?
not, that's not even current. Now it's about 45,000 to fill an average car.
So what is the plight of a common man?
Well, unfortunately, the common man is always at the receiving end of everything. And in Nigeria, I think there's nobody that is called a common man. It's a poor man. Just call him the real name, the poor man. So, and for Dangote Refinery, let me just make this brief comment before we round up. It is all a game plan. Dangote is just a frontier. Dangote don't own the refinery, absolutely. We all know that it is an investment that is jointly with the states and the federal and the NNPC. All of them are in it together. Now, I love what Dangote is doing. I love his business,
Strategy.
the investment and everything. But let's ask ourselves an honest question. Do the government give other company a level playing ground when it comes to this? There is a question that somebody
But
asked.
did other people ask for the same kind of
And
opportunity?
exactly.
I mean,
But
if they're not asking, that's not government's
they
fault.
do. See, let me give you an example of what happened. Now, you tell me that Port Harcourt refinery is not working, Warri refinery is not working, Kaduna refinery is not working, but at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is this. At the end of the day, um, they are saying that they want to sell off the refinery, the rest that we have. You
No, no,
wait
no,
first.
no. They are not saying they are not selling because I read where they said that in the next in the next 6 months that the refineries they want to wake them up so that they can create
Eh,
competition for
between me
Dangote
and you,
refinery.
let's wait for the next 6 months and 7 months and see what is going to
I
happen.
don't want to be quoted. I can't remember. Maybe a year
Yeah,
or 6 years,
I
whatever.
know. I had the conversation too that they said between now and December, the refinery in Port Harcourt is almost completed. It's going to work. Do you know that almost the same amount that was spent to build Dangote refinery was
It's
the
what
same
they're
amount
saying.
that we have spent to renovate the refinery that we have and never work. Now,
If that is true, then there's problem.
what I'm trying to say is this: if we want to make Nigeria work and we want things to work, eh, there is something that we need to do. And the first thing is this: let's create a level playing ground for everybody that is interested in our economy, in our business. So if you will create a platform, investors can come in and go at any time. For me, I will advise the federal government if they want to do the right thing. We have so many oil marketers, major distributors and importers that has storage facilities in Nigeria, that has the capacity to even build and own a refinery. Let us agree, all these four refineries, please make it a public bid and don't
Public bid.
sell don't sell
Yes, I
the
agree.
refinery to an existing refinery owners. Dangote
Make
cannot
it
buy
an
any more
IPO. Let
refinery.
all of us make it an IPO thing. Let all of us buy shares.
I'm telling you,
So that
make it an
if
IPO
we
thing.
all own it
Let
together, I
let
buy
this
1,000
refinery be
shares. Yeah.
owned. I can bet it. There are so many people in Nigeria that owns all these private oil marketers that can buy that refinery and they will renovate it and it will start working. At least when I was in Nigeria, I remember I know a couple that owns this. I don't know whether you know them, Bovas.
Bovas, very well.
Bovas. Bovas
Bovas.
is one of the people that has oil business and they have it with integrity. I
Yes.
can say that I can
I
beat
can
myself.
vouch for them too.
I can
I
fight
can
for them.
vouch. Yes.
I live in Ibadan in Oluyole Estate for almost about 8 years or thereabout. Their gas station has never inflated their price for
Not
one
for
day.
once.
Even
Everywhere.
when there is
In
scarcity
Lagos, in
everywhere.
Ilorin, in Ibadan, everywhere you go. And they are very fair to all their sellers, all their customers. That is the only place that I know that is a gas. I mean, that have
Yeah.
their own gas stations. That
Everywhere they operate, their station
well,
sell the
I
recommended
hope we are not making
price
adverts for them.
anytime, any day. No. I just want to. These are the kind of people that we can entrust business to. Let them be opportunity to. Let me tell you one thing, and go and check, and you can fact check me on this because I happen to have operated in the fast food industry, and I have a little bit of closeness and relationship with Dangote in terms of business company to company. Go and check all the industry where Dangote operates. If Dangote cannot monopolize and dominate that industry, he will quit. Dangote went into pasta industry. What has happened today? He has sold his factory to Indomie, to D United, because he can't compete in that brand. Dangote only exists and leverage the opportunity where he is becoming a monopoly and is going to be the one dictating. Look at, I have privilege of working with Bua Sugar and Dangote Sugar. If you know the amount of controversies and fighting that goes between the two of them, Dangote want to increase price, Bua said no, it's not increasing price, then there's a problem. Allegation against allegation. Go and check. Go and check. Look at his pasta industry. Look at his tomato paste. Why is Dangote quitting the tomato business? Because he cannot compete against what they call them, this tomato pepper or sherry paste. Now he's into oil and gas. He has a refinery. You wait until another individual, 2-3 people has a refinery in Nigeria, then you see what will start happening.
Well, if Nigeria can, especially the government, if they can do what they did in the telecommunication industry or communication, if they can do that, where you have the money, you want the license, that's why we have good competition.
That is what people are saying. That is what people are saying now.
What we should do also.
Open the whole economy, allow investors to come in. If you have what it takes to get a license, get your refinery, and move on. So don't monopolize it. Don't favor anybody. Let it be an open business where anybody can participate, come in and go out. Why is Dangote not in telecommunication? Because he doesn't want to. Because that is not an area where you can monopolize. You can come into the telecommunication and say that MTN and Globacom and everything should close down. No, it's not going to work.
All right. It's been a very long day, but very short, because you can never exhaust these topics. And I want to say thank you so much to Prince Kunle Oyerogba. Thank you so much. We are just punctuating. This is just a comma, because there must be a part 2 to this. And next week, by the grace of God, we are still going to be on these same frequencies, on these same channels. Go on YouTube, go on Facebook, and if you didn't watch this live, if you are watching the recorded, please go also and watch some other content that you have there. By the grace of God, we're going to make it bigger and better next week. Now that we have stepped into the real discussion, we'll be able to talk more about this new era. What are our expectations? Can Nigeria actually be good again? Can we go back to an economy that we have in the 70s, such as the time of Muritala Gowon, or even before them? Is there a possibility? Can Nigeria ever rub shoulders with countries like United States of America or Europe? Can Nigeria ever have its own aviation? Can he ever have his own airline carrier again? Can Nigeria go back to that status of giant of Africa that it was some years back? All this we'll be discussing. Prince Kunle Oyerogba, your last opinions for this segment until we meet next week. What do you expect from Tinubu? He's going to be a month in a couple of days. He's going to be a month old in a couple of days. As he celebrates his first 1 month, what are your expectations?
Well, my expectation is just for me. I wish him all the best, and I wish him the best for the country. But just like one of the presidential candidates said, if you are going to be called His Excellency, the process through which you emerge must be excellent. So I wait until I got the final decision of the court before I can say anything about his presidency. But
well,
for now,
as obedient inclined,
I wish him all the best.
Okay.
No, I want justice, and I want it to be clear. So at the end of the day, when the court comes out and say, okay, this is what happened, we all take it. There's nothing you can do. Whether it is right or wrong, whatever the court says is final. So
let me quickly throw something that our viewers would like to hear next week. Atiku and Obedient, they're still in court. Do you ever see our judiciary making a statement, and maybe for the first time, do you ever see them coming out with a judgment?
That will be a discussion for another day.
Okay, all right. If you want to know the answer, please Join us
So
next week.
if you want to, yes, if anybody wants to get that answer, then you should wait until next week. That would be
Trust me, he's an expert at what he's saying. Is tested and trusted, and he has a lot of facts. So next week he will be coming up with a lot of facts about, especially about what has happened before, what is happening now, and we are going to delve more into what is likely to happen in the foreseeable future. So can you just say your bye-bye to all our team fans and the viewers out there?
All right. Thank you for having me on the program, and I will say, let us be hopeful. It is a new Nigeria is possible, and we will get there by the grace of God. Thank you.
All right, thank you, our teaming fans. I remain sincerely yours on the screen. My name is Valentine Mengola Sende, and as much as my opinion matters, your opinion also matters. See you again next week, and I promise you that when we come back to you next week, it's still going to be bigger and better. Have a very wonderful week ahead.
The stories that are most important to us are stories about me, you, and others. Such stories are about politics, economy, landmark achievements, institutions, sports, and entertainment.